They lied.
Okay.
They said there were weapons of mass destruction. There were none, and they knew there were none. There were no weapons of mass destruction. Obviously, the war in Iraq was a big, fat mistake, all right? Now, you can take it any way you want, and it took Jeb Bush, if you remember at the beginning of his announcement, when he announced for president, took him 5 days. He went back. It was a mistake. It wasn't a mistake. Took him 5 days before his people told him what to say, and he ultimately said it was a mistake. The war in Iraq, we spent $2 trillion, thousands of lives. We don't even have it. Iran is taking over Iraq with the second largest oil reserves in the world. Obviously, it was a mistake.
So
George Bush made a mistake. We can make mistakes, but that one was a beauty. We should have never been in Iraq. We have destabilized the Middle East.
But so you still think he should be impeached?
I think it's my turn, isn't it?
You do whatever you want. You call it whatever you want. I want to tell you, they lied.
Okay.
They said there were weapons of mass destruction. There were none, and they knew there were none. There were no weapons of mass destruction.
All right.
Man, so I wanted to show that video because I think it's important to kick off today's discussion. See, first of all, as you can see, I have this hat on that says America First, right? And a lot of people would kind of see this hat and associate it with this, Make America Great Again hat. Now, this is a nice hat. I got this hat. I was excited about this hat when this hat first came through the mail. But I want you guys to understand that what's going on right now, when you see a lot of people that were supporting Trump and now they're not supporting Trump or they're disagreeing with Donald Trump, is because those people are actually America First. Now, you'll hear a lot of these Republicans and people that are in the administration or that's been a part of the administration saying America First is being Israel First. No, America First is being America First. Now, me personally, I might have a little bit more extreme ideas when it comes down to America First. I am what you may call a isolationist. I don't feel like we should be in bed with China at all. I don't feel like we should be in bed with Israel at all. I don't feel like we should have dual citizenship within our politicians. I think you should have one citizenship, and that should be towards America, so we don't have the confusion of who your loyalty comes down to. If it came down to a scream event, are you going to be over there or are you going to be over here? No, we need to know where you actually stand. I actually seen a video once where it was a reporter asking, is it Israel first or is it America first? And a lot of the politicians can simply answer the question, America First.
My name's Frankie Stocks. I'm a reporter with the Stu Peters Network. I would just love to ask you a quick question. I'm trying to ask every representative I can.
Go for it, Frankie.
That is, do you care more about the American people or Israel as a member of Congress?
I don't think they're mutually exclusive, Frankie.
Can you elaborate?
They're our best ally.
Are they? Who do you care about more, the United States or Israel? United States or Israel, sir? No answer? Should we put you down for Israel? Who do you care about more, the American people or Israel? It's an easy one. American people or Israel? You don't got to fake a phone call. American people or Israel? Who do you care about more, the American people or Israel? The American people or Israel, sir? Who do you care about more, the American people or Israel? No answer?
I think that Israel is one of our strongest allies in a part of the world where people are trying to harm us, and I think they need our support.
So should the U.S. continue funding Israel? Despite their links to 9/11 or their attack on the USS Liberty? Who do you care about more, the United States or Israel?
You know what? That's kind of an odd question to ask.
Well, it's a question the American people have been asking a lot because they're starting to wake up to how much AIPAC money is flowing into the coffers of Congress.
Well, if you watch what I've done over the years since I've been here, the question about do we have some strong support for Israel, I think it would be hard to find somebody who's been more positive about it than I have. So I'm amazed sometimes at where the American people are and how they think. It's like this is so against everything I've heard. The people who raised me are accepted. So.
Well, we have American citizens who are about to freeze to death in Western North Carolina, and we're sending millions to Israel.
No, that's not a comparison.
Well, it is a comparison because the money's going out. It's all coming from the same people. It's coming from the taxpayers, sir. Who do you care about more, the American people or Israel? American people or Israel, sir? Sir, they're equal? Are you serving Israel or are you serving America?
I stand with Israel.
Okay, so can you answer the original question? Who do you care about more, U.S. or Israel?
There's no variance. It's like you're asking, do you love your wife more than your daughter?
Well,
and you said it's a simple question.
It is.
Do you love your wife more than your daughter?
I love the United States more than I love Israel. It's a very simple question.
Great love, and you as a human being, you express that love, and you have core principles that drive you to your love for your wife and your love for your daughter. It's two different loves, but neither of them is greater than the other. You understand?
Who's the priority when you're casting a vote in Congress?
A lot of people in the MAGA movement, the reason why I don't wear this hat is because there are Donald Trump loyalists, right? And they won't disagree with nothing Donald Trump says. Everything Donald Trump does is correct, and they see this man as whatever. I don't even want to put a label on it, but I just don't stand on that far end of the MAGA spectrum. I'm actually America first. If another politician came on that was better, right, than Donald Trump, and that was more America first, I would voted for him instead of Donald Trump. Now, where I seen the shift coming in, because it was very hard for me to vote for Donald Trump the second time, because I started to connect the dots and I started to see there's a difference in that Donald Trump that we seen before he got into office into the Donald Trump that we seen towards the end of his last administration, his first term, right? At the end of his first term, there was a little difference that I seen within how he was talking, how he was moving, the decisions that he was making. And I started kind of to be a little disappointed in my vote. But I was like, you know what? No new wars. I understand it. That was something that a lot of people in MAGA celebrated and bragged about when we would talk to other people that kind of was in the disposition of Donald Trump, right? So you seen that video of him saying they lied. There was no mass weapons of destruction, this, that, and the third, right? You would see that, and you would also see videos like this.
Our president will start a war with Iran because he has absolutely no ability to negotiate. He's weak and he's ineffective. So the only way he figures that he's going to get reelected, and as sure as you're sitting there, is to start a war with Iran. Now, I'm more militant and more militaristic than the president. I believe in strength.
Now, what happened to that Donald Trump? Peace through strength, right? We heard that during the first term when he was running, the second term when he was running, peace through strength, right? We had this man sitting down on multiple interviews way before, even on The View, even in certain interviews, he said, look, man, all they want to do is continue to spend the taxpayer money in these endless wars. It's a waste of taxpayer money. We need to focus on America. This is way before he was running. When he decided to run, this was the Donald Trump that everybody was excited about. But there was a shift. There was a change. And this is where I believe that change came. Now, you may be looking at this and like, what do you mean this is where the change came? Before we take a deep dive into this, let me play you this video right here.
Let me just, he wants to be a tough guy. A lot of times you'll have, and it doesnn't work very well with
How tough is it to take property from an elderly woman?
Let me talk. Quiet.
How tough is it?
A lot of times, that's all of his donors and special interests out there. So, it's what it is. That's what, and by the way, let me just tell you, we needed tickets. You can't get them. You know who has the tickets for the, I'm talking about to the television audience? Donors, special interest, the people that are putting up the money. So it is. The RNC told us we have all donors in the audience, and the reason they're not loving me, the reason they're not loving me is I don't want their money. I'm going to do the right thing for the American public. I don't want their money. I don't need their money. And I'm the only one up here that can say.
I'm the only one up here that can say that. And I quote, I don't want their money. I'm going to do the right thing for the public. I don't need their money. So what happened? See, now we go back to what I was showing you before. This. $230 million AIPAC donated to Donald Trump. Not only AIPAC, I had a video that I never put out. Let me see if I can find this real quick. Okay, so I found my notes. And I just kind of want to go over this breakdown with you guys. The combined total of Donald Trump's first term and second term and this is just with the people that are pro-Israel and that's pushing for the bombing of Palestine, Iran, and pushing for the war in the Middle East. And, you know, that's not really America First, that only have Israel at heart, that just want the third Temple Mount and this, that, and the third, right? This is them. This is not the total donations that Donald Trump got. This is just from these Israel first people, right? The total between the first term, second term, $522.7 million. That is actually $500 billion. During the second term alone, 2020 through 2024, right? The donations, we see he got $230 million from AIPAC, right? But he also, outside of the people that are not AIPAC, that's still Israel first, is $497.7 million. See, that's why that language, and that's why that dialogue, and that's why that body language, and that's why he started to talk different from the first term. Now remember, he said, I don't want your donors' money, right? That's what he told us, and that's what we were sold on. But if you take a look at his administration and the people that he got around him and all the politicians that are in office, it seems to be Israel first. You know, like I said before, I seen this video where the Senate and in the House, it was a reporter that was in there that was just asking them a simple question. Is it Israel first or America first? And they couldn't even answer the question. They got choked up. They got mad. They said to be America first is Israel first. And these politicians have dual citizenship. When it comes down to it, we need to know which way you rocking, fam. And see, that's why I wear this hat, because it's a little different. The ideology is different. I'm not a Donald Trump loyalist. If Donald Trump F up, I'm going to call it out. And I don't appreciate how the tone is switching now. We literally got Netanyahu, who a lot of people in the MAGA movement or in the America First movement is feeling like our real president is. Whatever Netanyahu say, that's what Donald Trump going to do. Why the hell is Donald Trump not talking to Netanyahu like how he was talking to Zelensky?
The country is in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No. You've done a lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning.
I know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of us.
Mr. President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
you haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this cabinet.
We gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid president, $350 billion.
You voted
we gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about
if you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
you invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak-
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
That's the energy we like to see. Why the hell is Donald Trump pulling out a chair for Netanyahu? So what's really going on? That's the question that we really have to ask. That's what a lot of people that's in the MAGA movement, that's really, I don't even think they call themselves MAGA, but that's in that circle of America First is questioning right now. Everybody was bragging against their co-workers and their constituents and people around that was in disposition with them. Hey, no new wars though. Every president went to war but Donald Trump. Now, I believe we on the brink of World War III. Now, I believe we on the brink of Trump getting his legacy destroyed just because of Netanyahu. Why is it that Netanyahu coming on stage talking to us in English? He not talking to his people, he talking to us. Because their whole playbook is to do what? Tell Americans what it is and what it's going to be and condition them to go to war and accept the war. Because English is not the first in the main language that's over there in Israel.
אבל אנחנו הולכים למסלול התנגשות עם הממשל האמריקאי. ארצות הברית זה לא מקשה אחת, זה לא מקשה אחת. יש את הסנאט, יש את הקונגרס, יש את הכוח היהודי שהוא עצום, יותר חזק משהיה אי פעם. יש דעת קהל, יש לנו כוחות כבירים בדעת הקהל שמתנגדים למדיניות הזאת, גדולי הפרשנים. אמריקה לא תכפה עלינו דבר, אם לא...
So it leads people like me to think and question what the hell really going on. This man had the same playbook, and this is how it's kind of disappointing and hard to see. Trump, you was on this side, bro. We got countless interviews of you saying this before you even got in office. You knew what it was. What changed? Netanyahu been saying the same thing since 1982, 84. Before I was even alive, he been pushing for this.
Just finished bombing Iran. And moments later, I'm not kidding you, moments later.
Moments ago, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion.
Benjamin Netanyahu has this video out to propagandize Americans about dragging us into what will probably be World War III. And if you don't believe that it's specifically directed at us,
this is a clear and present danger landing on a country the size of New Jersey. Remember, Iran calls Israel the small Satan. It calls America the great Satan.
He even includes a Bible reference.
As the Bible teaches us, when someone comes to kill you, rise and act first.
To try to manipulate the American people into the same bullshit that we did in Iraq.
There is no question whatsoever that Saddam is seeking and is working and is advancing towards the development of nuclear weapons. No question whatsoever.
There were no weapons of mass destruction. They said there are weapons of mass destruction. I was against the war.
Same exact guy. I mean, literally the same dude who tricked the American people and our politicians into fighting a pointless war in Iraq that we got nothing from.
We have spent $2 trillion in Iraq and fighting Iraq. $2 trillion. $2 trillion. Thousands of lives. We got nothing.
Is here manipulating and tricking us into going into World War III. And the same exact premise. I'm not even kidding you.
We will not let the world's most dangerous regime get the world's most dangerous weapons. The increasing range of Iran's ballistic missiles.
Iran, by the way, is also outpacing Iraq in the development of ballistic missile systems that they hope will reach the eastern seaboard of the United States within 15 years.
Would bring that nuclear nightmare to the cities of Europe and eventually to America.
Right. We're just the first way station en route to you.
Threatening the lives, not of hundreds, but of millions.
Grieving not for thousands of dead, but for millions.
Remember, Iran calls Israel the small Satan. It calls America the great Satan.
Remember, we're the small Satan. You're the big Satan.
The same exact shit. We're doing it all over again.
Iran cannot have a nuclear enrichment program. It's clear that Iran is just buying for time. It refuses to agree to this basic requirement of peaceful nation.
We know everything about what they're doing, and we have to stop it because they're not allowed to have any of the weapons we have.
The hardest decision any leader has to make is to thwart a danger before it is fully materialized.
Believe that a clear connection between Saddam and September 11th must be established before we have a right to prevent the next September 11th. Well, I think not.
The Iraqis did not knock down. It was not Saddam Hussein that knocked down the World Trade Center. Okay, nobody really knows why we went into Iraq. Going into Iraq may have been the worst decision any president has made in the history of this country. That's how bad it is. Okay.
I want to talk about that last clip that you just heard Donald Trump say when he said they didn't do September 11th. Watch this clip, and it's going to start to make you question everything that you was taught. Now, I'm already a conspiracy theorist. I already never, ever, ever thought September 11th was a damn plane going into the building, because we never seen no plane remains, this, that, and the third. The way the building fell, all BS. But I want you to see this clip, and maybe it might get you to start questioning. Hold on one second. Why is it that the cartoons were saying it before it happened? Why is it that the movies were saying it before it happened? And I'm talking about 9/11. And why was it that Netanyahu was saying it before it happened? Was this thing all orchestrated and planned the whole time? Take a look.
In 1995, and I said that I wrote a book in 1995, and I said that if the West doesn't wake up to the suicidal nature of militant Islam, the next thing you'll see is the militant Islam is bringing down the World Trade Center.
I think has been a wake-up call from hell. It is telling us you have the power now to act, summon the will, because the terrorists have the will to destroy America, to destroy freedom, to destroy all of America's allies and all the democracies, Israel being simply on the front line. There is no question whatsoever that Saddam is seeking and is working and is advancing towards the development of nuclear weapons. No question whatsoever.
Netanyahu said, quote, "We're benefiting from one thing, and that is the attack on the Twin Towers and Pentagon and the American struggle in Iraq." Netanyahu then reportedly said these events, quote, "swung American public opinion in our favor."
Really, bro? You put out a statement like that? It has swung American opinion in our favor. Like I said, if you don't see that video and it don't start to make you think, this thing may have been orchestrated and planned the whole time, because this whole time since 1980s, Netanyahu been saying that he wanted to go in war with these people and be bombing these people. You think I'm playing? Let me show you. All right, so this is Netanyahu back in 1982. And what he's going to explain is if you take out the Soviet Union and the PLO, that international terrorism would cease to exist. Now, I want you guys to understand that the PLO is the Palestine Liberation Organization. And the PLO was backed by who? Iran and Iraq, right? Back in 1979, after the Islamic Revolution, they had ties to Lebanon and Hezbollah, right? So it's been his whole idea this whole time to continue to push for the destruction of Iraq. But let me play this video and we're going to hop back into it.
If you take away the Soviet Union and its chief proxy, the PLO, international terrorism would collapse.
So you see it there that he continues since 82 for this destruction. Please, Netanyahu, tell me how the American people benefit from this, because I don't see the benefit of my money and my taxpaying dollars going over to fight these forever wars. How does it benefit me? For as long as I've been living, I don't see how it benefits me. So explain to me, like a 2-year-old, how does this benefit the American people? Literally, our money is going over there, our taxpaying dollars to go over there to continue to pay for these rhinos and neocons and these politicians that advocate for these forever wars so they can enrich their pockets. How does it benefit us? Because we don't see it at all. All it does is continue to cause more inflation, making it harder on us to live. Now, that's not the only thing causing inflation in America, but that is one of them. And if we're going to spend trillions and trillions of dollars on wastefulness, because those trillions of dollars could have been going to the national debt. Those trillions of dollars could have been going to programs that actually help out Americans. But we continue to print more money just to send over to you guys. So please tell me, how does being in alliance with you guys, since you've been pushing for this, helps the American people? You literally been saying this since the 1980s. And now I got you on video in 1996, 1992, saying the same bullshit.
The deadline for attaining this goal is getting extremely close. And Iran, by the way, is also outpacing Iraq in the development of ballistic missile systems that they hope will reach the eastern seaboard of the United States within 15 years. By next spring, at most, by next summer, at current enrichment rates, they will have finished the medium enrichment and move on to the final stage. From there, it's only a few months, possibly a few weeks, before they get enough enriched uranium for the first bomb. The foremost sponsor of global terrorism could be weeks away from having enough enriched uranium for an entire arsenal of nuclear weapons. That would place a militant Islamic terror regime weeks away from having the fissile material for an entire arsenal of nuclear bombs.
If not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months, less than a year.
Now, explain it. You have some explaining to do. You've been saying they 2 weeks away, 2 years away, 1 year away, 1 month away, 2 days. Nah, you wildin', yo. I'm trying to understand. Either you don't know math, you have some bad advisors, your calculations is terrible, or you just lying to the American people. How I know you lying deliberately to the American people is because you're speaking English. That's not the main language of your country. So you only speak English and you only come with this propaganda that you've been pushing for this. This has to be the biggest propagandist that we ever seen. How can we manipulate the American people for this long and they continue to go with the same trick back? I think not. I think not. And not only was it Netanyahu, we all clowned Kanye West when he showed that chart and said who owns all the media. They own both sides, the right and the left. The media was manipulating and pushing the propaganda as well.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken is warning that Iran is potentially just months away or less from nuclear breakpoint.
Iran is 2 months away from a nuclear weapon, and it's a victory to get them 1 year away?
Iran could be less than a month away from building a nuclear weapon.
Netanyahu has made 2 tough-talking TV appearances, saying that Iran is just months away from making a nuclear bomb.
What is important to understand is that you have to dismantle the entire terror empire, and especially before its main practitioners, the terror states of Iran and Iraq, acquire nuclear weapons. And this, I think, has been a wake-up call from hell. It is telling us you have the power now to act.
Now, I'm going to need somebody to explain it to me like I'm 3, like I'm 4, like I'm 2. Because how we have the media incorrect, Netanyahu, who's been coming over here since the 1980s saying the same thing over and over, incorrect. Pushing that Iran is having these weapons of mass destruction, pushing that Iraq has these weapons of mass destruction, and being incorrect. And how is it that the American people continue to be pushed into fear to believe in this BS? See, let me explain something to you guys. What happened to after 9/11? After 9/11, we had what? We lost our constitutional freedoms. We lost a lot of privacy. We traded our constitutional freedoms and our privacy for security. And they said, oh, it's going to be for what? To monitor terrorism. So you have two issues here. You have the riots in LA and the riots going all, across the country for what? Illegal immigrants. Then you have this war that is being ushered in, right, and pushed upon the people. And you can best believe it's going to be another false flag event where, just like we had on 9/11, we have something else that happens in America, and then that's going to help issue in another Patriot Act that's supposed to watch the illegal immigrants and the terrorists again. Palantir, right? We're going to surrender more privacy and more of our constitutional freedoms. This is the whole playbook. Listen to what Netanyahu said.
It's Tel Aviv, tomorrow it's New York. I understand America first. I don't understand America dead. That's what these people want. They chant death to America. So we're doing something that is in the service of mankind, of humanity, and it's a battle of good against evil. It's Tel Aviv, tomorrow it's New York.
Today is Tel Aviv, tomorrow is New York. I understand America first, but I don't understand America dead. How is it New York tomorrow? Remember when he talked about that book, right? That he wrote about the Twin Towers. Same playbook. So is there going to be a false flag event in New York that I need to know of? And see, this is the same BS playbook that they continue to push amongst the American people. And see, the difference in today and the yesteryears is that we got the internet, and that I get to communicate to people that's watching this video and get to show them this BS. See, the newspaper didn't spread farther enough. Y'all could get around that. Y'all control all the news and the outlets, so y'all could get around that. But see, where y'all messed up was the internet. Can't get around it. It's people on the internet like me that's going to show and connect the dots and say, hey, there's something going on here. We need to pay attention. And see, they'll come off like, we just want peace. We just want to end the terrorism. Is that right? Okay.
Here's something the mainstream media won't tell you, which is that Netanyahu will sit there with Trump smiling and saying, all we want is peace. But time and time again, Israel has assassinated every serious negotiator for peace in the Middle East, including top Iranian officials that the Trump administration was just talking to about a potential nuclear deal.
We are ready.
Shemhani is one of the few people in Iran authorized to speak about the sensitive negotiations.
We can definitely have better relations with the U.S.
Shemhani said that Iran is willing to commit to never having a nuclear weapon.
He is now dead because of Israel. Quote, this action ordered by Prime Minister Netanyahu appears to deliberately undermine ongoing American diplomatic negotiations about Iran's nuclear program. Hell, they even assassinated their own prime minister because he dared to pursue peace. Yitzhak Rabin, who's seen here shaking hands with Yasser Arafat during the Oslo Accords, murdered by an Israeli ultranationalist in 1995. But the important detail that many leave out is that he was cheered on by none other than Benjamin Netanyahu himself. Mark my words, there can be no peace with Israel.
He hit it right on the head. Ain't no peace with Israel. And why would I think anything different? Because my whole life, Israel been the same way. It hasn't been no peace. It's only been chaos. It's only been them been pushing for more war and more war. And when you really look at it, we know why. It's because, see, the humanitarian crimes that Netanyahu has caused, once he get out of power, they locking his ass up. So, of course, he's going to continue to push for more conflict and more conflict. And they're going to continue to push to take over Palestine. They get that third Temple Mount. And continue to have total dominance over the Middle East. So for me, it would never, why would I even think there's any peace or that this man wants peace? That's hard for me to even think about or fathom because his actions align and say something else. See, we knew this thing was all planned and orchestrated. Once you connect the dots, once you see what these people really trying to do, how they trying to push in the issue in the New World Order. You own the media, the left and the right. We see the playbook. We also see your own boy, Zelensky, even snitching on y'all.
And we counted on this project. 20,000 between us, 20,000 missiles, anti-Shahid missiles. It was not expensive, but it's special technology. So we counted on these 20,000 missiles. Today in the morning, my Minister of Defense told me that the United States moved it to the Middle East.
They moved it to the Middle East. See, this is why I'm more of an isolationist when it comes down to being American first, and why we should not be supporting Ukraine. This is why we shouldn't be supporting Israel. We should just be supporting America, because see, what's actually happening with our taxpayer dollars is we supporting both sides. We supporting both sides of the war all the way back when our taxpayer dollars are going funding both sides of the war, because it's bigger than our politicians. It's the bankers who caused the war. They called the war, we're going to go to war. It's the global elites who pushing the agenda. When they say it's time to go to war, that's who, we going to war. America, we need the dollars. Jug from your taxpayer citizens, push the money here. We're going to buy these military equipment. We're going to continue to fund the money, and it's going to push its way up top. We just had in the last administration, Kamala Harris come out and she has said, she had a tweet saying that they're sending $157 million to who? Lebanon, right? And it kind of make you think like, hold on, Hezbollah is in southern Lebanon and they're in direct conflict of Israel, and Lebanon is backed by Iran, who has always been in direct conflict of Israel. So what's really, hold on. So what's really going on? Why would we give the money to the enemy? The enemy that they told us. They fund both sides of the war. Look at this.
This is an individual who killed Soleimani, has no problem doing the same with Khomeini. And by the way, it is very important for people to realize that under the Biden administration, they have released more than $20 billion in frozen accounts to the Iranian Revolution. It is 100% factual. I encourage all of your listeners right now to Google, whether it's the AP, whether it's the New York Times, whether it's CNN, type in the words, Biden releases Trump sanction on Iran. And you will notice that in July of 2023, in August of 2023, in September and in March, the Biden administration repeatedly allowed hostile countries like Saudi Arabia, like Iraq, and like Qatar to use frozen accounts that were unfrozen to purchase oil from Iran. Iran has never had this many oil exports than in the last 10 years. And it is because the Iranian economy, which was on the verge of bankruptcy toward the end of the Trump administration, it is because of this influx of cash that they have received under the Biden administration that they were able to fund and embolden Iranian proxies like Hezbollah, like Hamas, and like the Houthis. So it is 100% true that the attacks that were directed on October 7th by Hamas, which was funded by Iran, could not have been funded if their economy would be continued to be bankrupted. And before I will allow, of course, Shai to respond, all of your listeners right now, just Google the words Biden released Trump sanction on Iran. You will see everything I'm telling you is true. They gave the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps tens of billions of dollars, which is how the Iranian economy was miraculously saved. If you want to make sure that there is no nuclear Iran, then vote for the president who just 2 weeks ago, President Trump, said that the Israeli government, the Israeli war cabinet, should bomb Iranian nuclear facilities now. He told them to do it, whereas Biden and Harris told them not to do it. That is a clear difference.
Okay, let Shai respond.
He ain't lying. And see, you hear that and you say, you know, wow, that's crazy. Yeah, damn, Biden fucked up. Biden tripping. Why would he do that? And I went and did my due diligence, and I went and looked up the article. I searched what he said. Biden's withdrawal, Trump restoration of UN sanctions on Iran. And I go in this article and I'm reading it, and it displays and talks about exactly what he was saying. And I'm like, damn, maybe he had a point. But see, if we take a step back and you go look at Trump, one of the things that he said in a tweet one time, and let me show you this tweet real quick. Never forgotten over the fact that Obama was able to send $1.7 billion in cash to Iran and nobody in Congress and the FBI or the justice called for an investigation.
Obama left office, he sent $1.7 billion in cash to Iran. The money was delivered in actual cash, stacked on pallets and flown into the country. It happened in January 2016 when Obama authorized the transfer of the money to the nation known for sponsoring terrorism. The funds were allegedly part of a long-standing financial obligation stemming from a pre-1979 agreement. Prior to the Iranian Revolution, the United States had committed to supplying Iran with military equipment. However, following the revolution, the transaction was abandoned, leaving Iran to claim reimbursement for the $400 million initially paid. With the accrued interest, this amount spiked to $1.7 billion. The Obama administration decided to resolve the debt. On January 17th of 2016, an aircraft arrived in Iran carrying $400 million in cash loaded onto pallets. The remaining balance of the $1.7 billion was delivered in subsequent shipments. Now, as Israel continues its attacks on Iranian nuclear and military sites, President Donald Trump is deciding how involved the United States will become in this war. Many pointing straight back to Obama as the reason Iran had the funding to continue paying for terror and start building up their nuclear programs.
U.S. payment of $1.7 billion to Iran made entirely in cash. And this is the breakdown of what happened and how, whatever. No matter how they got it in cash or not, my point is that they're feeding both sides. And they have Americans split, arguing about Palestine or Israel, Israel or Iran, Israel or Iraq, Ukraine or Russia. But when is it going to come a point where you say, F all that? America and America. I'm just trying to figure out when we gonna wake up and stop falling for the trip back. I done showed you the evidence over and over of them pushing the same propaganda, and it's disheartening. And this is what I want to talk to the MAGA base. See, we thought we was going to get someone in office like this. We thought we was going to get leadership like this.
If Israel attacked Iran to prevent Tehran from getting nuclear weapons, would you help Israel launch the attack? Congressman Paul, would you support Israel and help Israel in such an attack?
No, I wouldn't do that. But there'd be good reasons, because I don't expect it to happen, because, you know, the Mossad leader that just retired said it would be the stupidest thing to do in the world. And it's a big argument over in Israel. They're not about to do this. They've just polled 40 major experts on foreign policy here by the National Journal. Now, one of them said there should be a unilateral attack on the sites in Iran. So that's not going to happen. And if it did, you're supposing that if it did, why does Israel need our help? We need to get out of their way. I mean, we interfere with them. We interfere with them when they deal with their borders, when they want to have peace treaties. We tell them what they can do because we buy their allegiance and they sacrifice their sovereignty to us. And then they decide they want to bomb something. That's their business, but they should, you know, suffer the consequences. When they bombed the Iraqi missile site, nuclear site back in the 80s, I was one of the few in Congress that said it's none of our business. And Israel should take care of themselves. Israel has 200, 300 nuclear missiles, and they can take care of themselves. Why should we commit? We don't even have a treaty with Israel. Why do we have this automatic commitment that we're going to send our kids and send our money endlessly to Israel? So I think they're quite capable of taking care of themselves. I think we do detriment. Just think of all the money we gave to Egypt over 30 or 40 years. Now look, we were buying friendship. Now there's a civil war. They're less friendly to Israel. That whole thing is going to backfire once we go bankrupt and we remove our troops. So I think we should be very cautious in our willingness to go to war and send troops without a proper declaration by the U.S. Congress.
Talk about it. See, that's the leadership. That's the energy. That's what we thought we was getting from Trump. That's what we thought that was going to happen when he got in office. Because remember, he was calling out the BS when it came to Iraq. So Trump, what happened, my boy? Look. Your legacy is hanging in the balance. We're not going to continue to support this warmongering, pro-Israel, Israel first type of energy. And then you're going to tell us to be America first is to be Israel first. Oh, my God. Yo, that don't even make sense, bro. And we not going. We see where your money coming from. We see where the dollars coming from and the reason why you talking the way you talking. You sold out. You wanted to win so bad. And I understand. I appreciate you winning. Because the opposing position couldn't even vote for it. We know they cheated you in 2020 when the first time you ran against Biden. It's new reports coming out that even China helped issue in faking that election. I understand. But look where we at now. Your base is trying to holler at you and talk to you and say, hey, we don't want this war. And I'm telling you now, me personally, if you ain't hear from them, you will hear from me. I definitely don't want that war. I definitely don't want our money to continue to be sent over for these pointless and endless wars. I seen a post that said we done spent 8 to 6 trillions in war with Israel. But we want to continue to cry about the deficit. We want to continue to cry about the debt that we in. We want to continue to cry about those things. But we want to continue to spend trillions of dollars with Israel. Why haven't Israel paid us back? I need someone to break it down for me better on how us being in alliance with Israel benefits the American people. Listen, I'm going to leave y'all with this video and I'm out. But I don't know. I know this is a split position when it comes down to the base of MAGA and America First movement. I know. So I'm probably going to get some pushback and a lot of unsubscribers. But I got to be true to me. Because I desire to see a future where, you know, I can have some kids and they grow up and they don't have to worry about some foreign affair war going on that could possibly lead to a false flag or some destruction going on U.S. soil. I got to do what's best for myself. Listen, man, you are me, I'm you. We're one of the same body. Remember, keep your head up, keep your nose clean. You save the world, you live forever. Peace.
I've been very emotional today. I try not to do that on the air, but how can I help myself? Because I'm told I have to take a back seat. I'm told I have to go to jail for my speech because Ukrainians are more important, because protecting Democrat Party corruption is more important, because Israel is more important, because illegal immigrants are more important. Everything's more important than me. Everything's more important than me and my family and my country and my future. Everything's more important than me. And it's strange. It's odd that an American would get so emotional And it's strange that I would come on air and be flippant and flamboyant and boisterous about all this. That's strange. No, what's strange is not being emotional about this. What's strange is not caring about all this. What's strange is being sat down and told to take a knee while the knife is coming into your jugular. That's strange. No, this is what a human looks like. This is what a human with survival mechanisms looks like. This is what a human with a functioning brain looks and sounds like. This is not odd. This is normal.